Hello, welcome back to another fantasy football video. I hope everybody's doing fantastically well. We're into the semi-finals of Euro fantasy football action. I'm absolutely loving the Euro so far. Hope you are too. And today we're going to be taking a look at how the team lines up, the sort of strategy, I guess, behind selecting your players ahead of the semi-final. We do have 5 transfers, which is a lot of transfers that we can make to hopefully put out a full 11 and even give us a few substitutions as well. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you like this kind of content, and we'll get straight on into this one. So this is how the team is currently looking with 0.7 mil in the bank and 5 free transfers. There's a lot of tinkering and a lot of moving around that can be done. Obviously, there are only 4 teams left in the semi-finals. We have England playing against Denmark and Spain playing against Italy. So we've got to get rid of the likes of Lukaku, Dumfries, Benzema, and so on. Spinazzola, unfortunately, picking up that injury where I think he did his Achilles in. So unfortunately for him, he will not be playing in the next game. And he has been such a good asset, such a good player throughout this whole tournament. I think for me, the strategy going into this game week is if you have at least 3 players from each team, then it means that with the 5 free transfers you get for the final, you will be guaranteed to put out a full 11. That's because, if you back 3 players from Denmark, 3 players from England, you get guaranteed 3 players through, 3 players from Italy, 3 players from Spain. You then another 3 players through, totting up to 6 players, and 5 free transfers gives you 11 in the final. So I think that's how I'm going to be kind of approaching this, is making sure that I have 3 players from each team. So first and foremost, let's take a look at the attackers and who we could bring in. Obviously, Harry Kane coming in with that lovely brace. I already do own him. And then in terms of the other attackers, I think for me, I'd love to get Insigne, but as you can see, all of my midfield spots are actually currently filled up by players who are already playing in the semi-finals. And therefore, it seems like a little bit of a waste of a transfer to transfer one of those guys out. Obviously, Sarabia, Torres, they're bit of a rotation risk in some sense, or at least they have the risk of being taken off at half time, like we saw Sarabia doing, and Ferran Torres has obviously not made it to 60 minutes in a fair few games as well. In terms of the attacker though, I think there's only actually a small amount of attackers that I can choose from. I can choose from Dolberg, Immobile, and Morata. I think for me, Immobile is one that just kind of has to go in there. Now, with what I said, the rotation with the Spanish guys, that kind of means for me, they're probably going to be avoiding Alvaro Morata. He did come off at half time with only 1 point in their quarter final. So for me, it's kind of a no-go for there. Although, a similar thing did happen with the Danish attacker Dolberg. He only made it to the 58th minute. However, with what I was saying about making sure that you have at least 3 attackers, or 3 players, sorry, from each team, I think Dolberg for me has to go in there. I'm tempted by one of the defenders. I think it's Sigtrigger or something like that. Along those lines, let's get the defense from Denmark. Striger. I'm tempted by him because as we bring him up here, he has been taken off in the 70th minute of the games, both games that he has played. So that for me entails that, if Denmark can keep a clean sheet up until about the 60th, 70th minute, he then comes off, you're banking the 6 points. And, even if you have the English attackers, you still then look pretty good going forward as well. In terms of the rest of the players, we obviously have Spinazzola, Dumfries, and Kimpembe to sort out. I do already have the triple up on the Italian boys now with Immobile, Berardi, and Donnarumma, so I've got the triple up there sorted. I currently still only have 2 Spanish players, so I think I'm going to bring in a Spanish defender, and it realistically has to be Jordi Alba with the most kind of attacking output or threat that any of the Spanish defenders do offer. Obviously, Pau Torres has actually picked up a couple of assists so far in the tournament, and Laporte has scored, but Alba looks very threatening down that left-hand side and was unfortunate not to be awarded the goal against Switzerland. Now, in terms of the rest of the defence, I think for me, it's going to have to be the English boys. England are the only side not to have conceded a single goal so far in the tournament, and I mean, that is yeah, that is just absolutely absurd that they haven't conceded a single goal so far. So I think for me, Luke Shaw and John Stones just go straight in there. And I mean, yeah, no, I can't really argue with that, to be honest with you. I mean, the way Luke Shaw's been playing so far this tournament, he's on 3 assists. He's one behind the assist leader, Zuba, and you know he could easily go and get the most assists for this whole tournament. And I mean, John Stones obviously pretty solid at the back. Does have some goal threat as well. Obviously hitting the post against Scotland. He was unfortunate in that game not to pick up a goal. And I mean, it's going to be a quick little video today because there's not really loads to discuss because we only have 4 teams left to play. Obviously, with what I was saying about the kind of making sure you have 3 players from each team, I think is quite important. But that depends, I guess, on the position that you are in. I find myself in a reasonably good position, sitting at 16k rank on 319 points, which means I'm faring quite well in my mini leagues. If you're not doing so well, maybe taking some punts and maybe kind of putting all of your eggs in one particular basket, say an Italian basket or an English basket, could actually really end up paying off. I think at this current stage, you are allowed 5 players from each team. So in this case, you know, I've got the 5 from England, but you could easily then, as I say, go and instead of say the Danish players, get the 5 from Italy instead. And the only other changes that may be made to this team will be when the lineouts drop for the Italy versus Spain game. If there's anything kind of untoward, if say like a Sarabia or a Ferran Torres, do not start and may consider kind of substituting or transferring one of those guys out. But for now, this is how I'm very much looking at lining up. In terms of captaincy, on the first day, I'd probably look at going for an Immobile. And on the second day, I'd probably still be looking at going for someone like a Harry Kane or Sterling. And yeah, that's currently how the team is lining up. So if you have enjoyed this quick little look ahead to the semi-finals of Euros fantasy action, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you are enjoying this style of content. And I will catch you in the next one. See ya.